To understand the Iceman, you have to go back to his roots, to the very beginning of his story. Back to the concrete jungle of Glasgow's Red Road Flats, a place that shaped his destiny. Life there was tough, unforgiving. Poverty and deprivation were rife, casting a shadow over every aspect of daily existence. For a young James Stevenson, crime wasn't a choice, it was a way of life, a means of survival in a world that offered little hope. He learned quickly, rising through the ranks with a chilling efficiency, mastering the art of intimidation and control. His early days were a blur of petty theft and violence, each act hardening him further. He earned his nickname Iceman, not just from his cold-blooded demeanor, but from his preferred method of intimidation, which was as chilling as his name suggests. Victims would often find themselves submerged in ice-cold baths, a terrifying reminder of Stevenson's ruthlessness and his willingness to go to any lengths. He craved power, and he wouldn't let anything stand in his way, driven by an insatiable hunger for control. He had a knack for spotting opportunities, exploiting weaknesses in the system, always staying one step ahead of his rivals. He surrounded himself with loyal foot soldiers, men who would kill, maim, or die for him without hesitation, creating a formidable force. His empire grew, fueled by drugs, protection rackets, and whatever else he could get his hands on, expanding his influence and reach. The Red Road Flats, once his prison, had become his launching pad, the place where his criminal empire began to take shape. He had escaped the poverty, but he brought the violence with him, a constant reminder of his origins and the path he chose. By the turn of the millennium, Stevenson was at the top of his game, a name whispered in both fear and respect. He had become a major player in the UK's drug trade, forging connections with Colombian cartels and Moroccan hashish smugglers, creating a vast and intricate network. Cocaine, heroin, ecstasy, it all flowed through his network, leaving a trail of addiction and misery in its wake, devastating communities and ruining lives. But Stevenson was more than just a thug, he was a strategist. He was shrewd, cunning, and understood the importance of legitimacy. Blending seamlessly into the world of legitimate business, he invested his ill-gotten gains in property, businesses, even taxi firms, creating a facade of respectability. He laundered his money through a complex web of shell companies, making it nearly impossible to trace, always staying one step ahead of the law. He'd become a master of disguise, presenting himself as a successful businessman while directing his criminal empire from the shadows, a dual life that few could see through. His influence extended beyond the streets, reaching into the highest echelons of society. He had corrupt officials on his payroll, policemen, lawyers, even politicians, ensuring his operations ran smoothly without interference. He was untouchable, or so he thought, basking in his perceived invincibility. He had built his empire on fear and intimidation, but even empires built on such shaky foundations eventually crumble, as the seeds of his downfall were already being sown.